it seems like the critics were right. We might actually be getting the best season of From. Not only did the premiere set the tone perfectly, but this second episode managed to maintain that same level of tension, mystery, and emotional weight. In some ways, it even felt more focused, especially in how it handled the characters and their reactions after everything that happened. If the show keeps this pace and consistency, we could be looking at something really special by the end of the season. I also noticed that you really enjoyed the previous format with 10 things you missed, so I decided to continue with that structure for episode 2. There are a lot of small details, subtle clues, and character moments that are easy to overlook on a first watch, so this format is perfect for breaking everything down and really understanding what the episode is trying to tell us. We'll start this list with one of the most frequently asked questions about this episode. Why did Tabitha send Ethan to the barn? At first, this seems like a very odd thing to do, but trust me, it actually makes a lot of sense. We saw how panicked and hysterical Ethan was, so Tabitha likely sent him to the barn so he could play with Alma and take his mind off Jim. Maybe this way he would feel a little better. We've seen this in previous episodes and how much Ethan loves Alma. He was even ready to go outside at night when the monsters released the animals. So this is why Tabitha sent Ethan to the barn, to help him feel a little better by playing with Alma. Now, regarding the reason why there was a goat in a bag hanging over the motel sign, I don't have a clear theory. If you have one, I'd be really curious to hear it. The only explanation I can think of is a scapegoat, but I'm not sure what it would represent. I think a lot of people caught this next detail. Jim's death was foreshadowed in Season 1. When Tabitha first dreamed about the lighthouse, she saw Jim hanging in the same position and wearing the same clothes. Jim being found like that could also be a strong reference to the tarot card, the Hanged Man. We don't know if tarot plays a role in the story, but there are a lot of interesting videos about this topic, and they are definitely worth watching. This next detail was spotted by one of my subscribers, BDubsBFM5153. The fact that the Jim we saw at the end of the episode was wearing Tabitha's bracelet. I'm wondering what this represents because it feels like a subtle clue. I'm not sure what to make of it, so if you have any ideas, please share them in the comments. Could the bracelet be one of the talismans? We know the show's producers told us there are 12 totems in total. One thing is for sure, Tabitha's bracelet might be more important than we initially thought, which could explain why she keeps making them in every cycle. The last thing I want to mention about Jim is Ethan's dream. I talked about this in my previous video, but Ethan's dream didn't end with the Lake of Tears. It ended with someone screaming because a spider was coming down from the ceiling. So, if the first part of the dream was true, then it means the second part could be true as well. This would mean we might see a giant spider in the final season, and I believe it could be the ultimate villain, the guardian of the Lake of Tears. I mentioned in my previous video that the lake might be in the underground tunnels, so a spider guarding it would make a lot of sense. Also, here's another interesting idea that I didn't talk about in my previous video. What if Jim is Norman from Julie's story? We know that the Lake of Tears was first mentioned in the first episode and that the fairies that came from the Lake of Tears killed Norman. Now, after seeing how Season 4 started, doesn't that scene resemble Julie's story? We have the fairies represented by the man in yellow killing Jim, who represents Norman. This revelation, that the Lake of Tears is an actual place, has opened up a whole new world of theories. Another clue that Jim could be Norman is found within Tabitha's vision at the lighthouse. Just before she saw Jim's death, the camera showed Norman on the lighthouse steps. Have you ever wondered why Ethan ran from home to the RV to get the radio? We know Ethan said he wanted to use it to talk to Thomas and ask him to find his father. The reason Ethan did that is because Thomas had previously communicated with them using that same radio. Ethan didn't use the phone because he didn't know what number to call, but he knew how to use a radio because Jim taught him in Season 1. I'm assuming Jim will have more apparitions in the upcoming episodes, so what if Ethan uses the radio to communicate with his father? I don't know if I'm imagining things, but in my opinion, the monster that attacked Julie while she was story walking was actually running. Julie was too focused on her father and didn't pay attention to her surroundings, so the monster approached her from behind. But when Julie noticed it, we can see the monster start running. If this is true, then it would play a very important role, because the only other time we saw a monster running was when Miranda tried to reach the bottle tree. In my opinion, this suggests that the monsters see Julie's story walking as something just as dangerous as Miranda reaching the lighthouse and possibly saving the children. So Julie's new ability could be a key factor in getting everyone home. And since we talked about Julie, let me show you something you might not notice until you watch the scenes together. Did you notice anything strange? Did you notice how Abby's ghost appeared exactly when Julie was attacked by the monster so she could distract Boyd's attention? I don't know about you, but to me this seems like a very important clue and we'll likely learn more about it in the future. I talked a bit about this in my previous video, but I wanted to go deeper in this one. The reason Tabitha lashed out at Jade is because this is her coping mechanism for dealing with grief. This is also the exact reason she and Jim are getting a divorce. They deal with grief in completely different ways. Jim throws himself into work, while Tabitha tends to blame everyone else but herself. We've seen them argue about this several times in previous seasons. So it's interesting to see Tabitha treating Jade in the same way she treats Jim, her current husband. Next, we have another detail I briefly mentioned before, but many people missed it. When Sophia and Sarah were in the storage room and Sophia saw the ballerina, she gasped in fear. If you listen closely, you can hear it. I think the actress did a wonderful job portraying both surprise and fear. The casting of Sophia was phenomenal. I was really impressed by how quickly and convincingly she shifts emotions. As for why the man in yellow might fear the ballerina, I'll link a video in the description for a deeper explanation. But my theory is that the worms and the ballerina might be his enemies. This next detail is something I didn't catch myself. I saw someone on Reddit, Sandwich Guru, point it out. When Sophia was in the storage room trying on glasses, she asked Sarah, "Who do you think these belong to?" Since they were in the storage room, we assumed they belonged to a previous resident. However, Sandwich Guru analyzed the scene and suggested that the glasses actually belonged to one of the monsters, the Professor. We see this monster wearing them at the beginning of the series, and in Season 3 we see him without them. So it doesn't seem like a coincidence that the monster lost his glasses and Sophia later found them in the storage room. That's why I believe those glasses belong to the Professor monster. The last thing you might have missed is Elgen telling Boyd, "The truth will always come out." This phrase originates from The Merchant of Venice by William Shakespeare. Elgin's story can be compared to this play. Both stories ask the same question. Should mercy matter more than justice? Should Elgen be forgiven because he believed he was helping, or punished because his actions caused terrible consequences? He thought he was saving everyone, but he may have helped doom them instead. And with that, we complete our list of 10 things you might have missed in the second episode. These may not be as major as the ones mentioned in the previous episode, but they're still important details that could become much more relevant as the story continues to unfold. If you enjoyed this video, I can definitely continue making this type of content for every episode, breaking down all the hidden clues and theories. Just let me know in the comments. I'd also love to hear your own theories or anything else you might have noticed that I didn't mention, because there are always new perspectives that can change how we see the story. And if you don't want to miss the next breakdown, make sure to stick around. There's a lot more to uncover as the season goes on.